So I've been looking for a long time now for something that's going to automate the drop shipping from Amazon to TikTok Shop. I've been a big proponent of this method for pretty much all beginners because in my opinion, Amazon is one of the best, if not the best supplier to start with as a beginner when you're drop shipping on TikTok Shop, or really a lot of places, right? Not just TikTok Shop. The reason being, obviously you have a number, like millions and millions of products that you can choose from. So you're not limited to one specific product, one specific niche. You can test a bunch of them very quickly. Obviously you have fast shipping times, you have decent prices, you have high quality listings, right? So you have high quality titles, you have optimized pictures with high quality images already, so you don't need to actually go take your own product images. You have high quality descriptions, so you can use those to format your message in your videos or your listings in a number of different ways. You have a number of review videos on high quality listings already as well, so it's really easy to then take those review videos and use them as a good jumping off point to get some videos up quickly yourself. And that is just scratching the surface. It's the tip of the iceberg, but in my opinion, Amazon is hands down the best place to start. I still use it to test almost all my products in the beginning to prove the concept because it is so easy, rather than using something where I'm going out and trying to find an obscure supplier or somewhere like AliExpress or CJ Dropshipping, which those are decent suppliers, don't get me wrong, but Amazon has an advantage over them because you can test so many different products with so many different variables a lot faster. It's reliable, great shipping times, etc. The issue with Amazon up until now was that you had to do everything manually, right? There was nothing out there. There was no solution that would automate the Amazon dropshipping to TikTok Shop, everything in between it, from the listing of the product to connecting that product within your store to then ordering that product, knowing where the exact URL, the exact supplier is, to then inputting the tracking number into your order on TikTok Shop and handling all that streamlined automatically for you without you needing to do everything. Up until this point, I have a VA that's done it all for me, from the actual listing to obviously creating the videos. Sometimes we outsource those as well, to then also processing the orders, to then inputting the tracking numbers in those corresponding orders, and we have a detailed spreadsheet month to month that tracks all of that. But you don't need to do that anymore because AutoDS actually just dropped a new release of their software that now integrates with TikTok Shop and does all that for you automatically. It is mind-blowing. So obviously this is the best place for most beginners to start, and even if you're not a beginner, you should obviously consider this because the ability to drop ship literally almost any Amazon product onto TikTok Shop automatically is a game changer for this. So the first step is to obviously just sign up for autods.com, and that's going to take you over to AutoDS, obviously like this, where you can just sign up for an account, inputting your email, your name, and obviously choosing a password. Then once you're in, the first thing that you're going to want to do, as you can see here, is add a store. However, this assumes that you already have a TikTok Shop. If you do already have a TikTok Shop, then great, we're going to add the store. If you don't, then you actually need to sign up for a TikTok Shop. It's very easy. So you just go to business.tiktokshop.com, you click get started. Obviously you're going to say, are you a seller, a creator, a partner, a buyer? In this case, we're opening a TikTok Shop, so we're a seller. Then you want to sign up with your email. So let's just put a test email in there for us. Make sure that you do have your country selected, right? So obviously these are the options. I'm in the US, so I make sure to select US. Continue. Input your verification code. So what is it? 248640. Now choose your password. And now we need to run through the prompts of actually setting this up, right? So are you an individual? Do you have a business already? If you do have a business, obviously you want to pick your specific business and then input your EIN. If you're an individual, then register as an individual and input your social. All this is going to be pretty self-explanatory. Just input your business information if you're signing up as a business, or your personal information if you're signing up as yourself. Then upload all the documents it asks. So in this case, it's either a passport or a US driver's license. If you're signing up with, Malaysia or the UK, obviously that's going to be something specifically different. But I'm joining in the US, so I just upload my passport or my license, give them all the necessary information for my business, my EIN number, and they typically get back to you within 24 to 48 hours and accept it. Now, if you are having trouble getting approved, whether it's your first application or you've tried to do this multiple times, you are not alone, okay? So many people face this issue, especially when first starting out. Essentially, the first thing that you want to do is make sure that your information is accurate. You'd be surprised how many people reach out to me and their information has something wrong in there. So just make sure you're going slowly, ensuring that all the information, all the numbers, obviously the license is visible, it's not blurry, and double check that all that information is correct, right? Your name, your address, your social security number, your business EIN, and all the other details match 100%. Now, if you are certain that everything is okay, the next thing you want to make sure of is that you are applying from a country that TikTok Shop is allowed, right? So if you go through and you select like US or Malaysia or, the UK, but you're applying from Bangladesh or Canada or somewhere obviously that is not one of those countries, that's going to lead to a significant issue and a rejection of your account if they're detecting it. And even if you're using a VPN, which sometimes does work if you have a good one, they still might detect it, and that could be one of the reasons. So assuming that you're applying from a country where it's allowed, then you just need to really be persistent. If you've been rejected, do not give up. Resubmit your application repeatedly, even if it takes a dozen attempts. I had a shot myself where I had to apply like 20 times, if I remember, before they finally accepted it without changing anything in the application at all, and the persistence obviously paid off. The reality is these companies that are big like TikTok or Facebook or Amazon, for example, get thousands, if not tens of thousands of requests daily, and they rely on algorithms and bots to manage a lot of it. So if you get rejected even a couple times in a row, it can feel like you're automatically automatically getting denied sometimes on subsequent attempts, but that's just because your application isn't being thoroughly reviewed by an actual human, okay? This issue isn't unique to TikTok. It's common with many of the other big platforms, like I said, Facebook, Amazon, to name a few. The key is to just keep replying until your application gets in front of the right person and passes through the system. And finally, if for whatever reason, after like 20 to 30 attempts over the course of like a week, you still aren't getting accepted, which is hard pressed. Most people that do that eventually do get through. And then at that point, just try to create a new account, apply fresh with that same information. Sometimes for reasons that are unclear to me, or probably the big companies themselves, your original application might just hit a snag. So opening a new account and applying with the same details can give you a fresh chance at getting approved. But that's just if you obviously don't get approved. I want to hit that home because typically I get at least one question a day of like, hey, my shop's not approved. What am I doing wrong? Those are the best ways to do it. Just keep applying, make sure that your information is all correct. So now that we've signed up for AutoDS and we've also signed up for TikTok Shop, the first thing that we need to do is go back to AutoDS and then add our store here. Now, once you do that, it's going to make you input your actual Shopify store. If you don't have a Shopify store yet, then you just want to have them create one for you, let AI build it, and that will take you to this page right here in about 30 seconds. Again, remember, we're doing this with TikTok Shop. We're not connecting our Shopify store in this instance, but you do need to do that step just to get to this next page. Now, once you're here, don't worry about signing up for Shopify, obviously. You want to go up to the top left here where you see the little pencil mark next to your store name. Click the pencil and then add store right here. Now you're going to see all the different integrations that AutoDS integrates with. So obviously you see Shopify, eBay, Amazon, Facebook Marketplace, Wix, WooCommerce, Etsy, and then there it is, TikTok Shop. So now you want to connect to TikTok Shop and continue, and that's going to let you automatically connect into TikTok Shop once you sign up. So depending on how many products you obviously intend on uploading to AutoDS and automating, if you have under 200 products, which I typically recommend for most people because TikTok Shop, the way it's set up right now, is not something like Facebook Marketplace or, Poshmark or Mercari or something like that where volume wins. In most cases, it's a small number of high quality products that you have good videos for. So most of you are going to be good starting off with a $19.90 plan. Obviously, if that doesn't apply to you, then pick whichever one does apply. You can save a little bit if you just go annually, or if you prefer to pay monthly, you can just toggle over to monthly and then sign up for the trial. You can start for just $1. Now, the next thing you want to do after you connect your TikTok Shop is go to supplier settings, and you want to add a new supplier. In this case, it's going to be Amazon. So you see AliExpress is already in there. We're just going to toggle down and find Amazon. There it is. The US warehouse is already selected, but obviously make sure that it's the warehouse selected for your country, and then just add the supplier with the recommended settings. And now you've connected your TikTok Shop to AutoDS. You connected the Amazon supplier. The very next step is to just download the AutoDS Chrome extension. It's going to help you automatically add Amazon products with the click of a button into your AutoDS store. So the easiest way to get there is just Google AutoDS Chrome extension. That will take you directly to the web store where you can download that. You can also download it within the website. As you can see here, I've downloaded it already. It is completely free if you already have an AutoDS account. Then it's going to look something like this up here in the top right, AutoDS Dropshipping Helper. And now on Amazon listings, once you have it set up and you've downloaded the extension, you will see this import to AutoDS button. You can add any Amazon product in about 5 minutes. It does, take like a few minutes to morph it over and add it to your actual inventory. So assuming that you want to add this product, you would just click import to AutoDS. There you see it kind of flash, and that's how you can tell what products you've already added or ones that are in the process of being added to your store. So obviously this one is. If we go over to this example right here, the dog feeding mat, this one hasn't. It's obviously not flashing, but if we wanted to add this to our store, again, we would just click it, give it about 5 minutes, and then go back into our AutoDS. You can look into your products, and it should be right there. Again, give it like 5 minutes or so. And that's how easy it is to add products automatically from Amazon into your AutoDS store, which will then automatically sync up into your TikTok Shop as well. And then it's really just the basics of getting sales on TikTok Shop, where AutoDS is handling all the logistics and back-end stuff for you, right? They're processing the orders automatically. They're inputting the tracking numbers automatically. As you can see here, they're keeping track of the actual order on TikTok Shop and corresponding and making sure that everything's synced up. They're keeping track of your URL because, again, we added them with the actual AutoDS button and Chrome extension, so they know anytime you add that product and somebody orders that product, they know the exact URL to go back and order it from. They keep track of the customer, the quantity that they ordered, what store it was, right? Was it your Shopify store? Was it your TikTok Shop? Was it Facebook Marketplace? Whatever. Obviously, the majority of us are going to be using TikTok Shop for this. It also keeps track of how much you spent, each profit for sale, and that way you don't need to actually set up an auto-calculating spreadsheet or keep track of any of that information anymore. It's going to save you so much time because it keeps track of it all automatically for you. And then you can just sign into your AutoDS dashboard and look down the orders here and see what's gone out already, when, who's received it, who's gotten it delivered, what's shipped, what's still waiting to be shipped, and how much money you've made, as well as how many products or which products specifically have sold and how many times that month. So you can obviously take that information and then double down more on what's working. So this is a game changer, guys. Once you set this up, then you don't need to worry about any of the back end stuff, any of the logistics. You can just focus on getting sales, uploading quality videos, or going live, or getting affiliates to obviously make sales for you. And you can focus on what actually puts money in your pocket and save all of that extra headache and back end work that used to take hours and hours a day, especially as you scale, and just let AutoDS do it all automatically for you. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand that lower prices can significantly boost your profit margins. Now, one way to achieve this is by obtaining a reseller's permit, which will allow you to make purchases without ever paying sales tax up front. This is good if you're a reseller. This is good if you're a drop shipper. In any e-commerce business, this is a no-brainer. Now, the reason that this is allowed is because you're not the end consumer of your goods, your customer is. So let me walk you through my experience and this straightforward two-step process to get you your own reseller's permit. It's actually quite simple. So the first thing that I did was head to irs.gov and filed for my employer identification number, or EIN. And you might be wondering, like, what is an EIN, Brian? Well, think of it simply as your business social security number. Now, you don't necessarily need an actual business or an actual LLC to apply for an EIN, although having one is recommended. You can also file for one as a sole proprietor. However, keep in mind that if you ever decide to form an LLC or upgrade to an S Corp for tax benefits later on, you'll need to apply for a new one at that point. Obviously, if you already have a business set up and you already have an EIN that you want to use, you can just skip this step. Step 2 is to file for a reseller's permit in your own state. This process was surprisingly straightforward and it only took a few minutes. You should be able to find this link somewhere on your state's website. If you can't locate it, you can just Google it. There's several names for it, so reseller's permit, reseller's license, and a number of others. And if you're struggling to find it, then I recommend just giving them a call and asking where to get the form. They should be able to direct you to it very easily. Now, once you acquire your permit, you'll then be able to purchase products without ever paying sales tax on them. This increased all my future profit margins by up to 10%, depending on the state's sales tax, obviously, which is massive. Do the math. Obtaining a reseller's permit was not as complicated as I initially thought. In just 2 easy steps, I was able to unlock better prices, which allowed me to increase my profit margins significantly. I encourage everyone who's serious about reselling or dropshipping to take these steps because they're worth it and they're simple. Now, if you're unsure how to apply for an EIN or where to find your state's website for the reseller's permit specifically, the helpful resource that I'd recommend you look into is the 888 Lots comprehensive guide to this entire process. So if you just Google 888 Lots, how to get a reseller's permit, it will lead you directly to their helpful guide where you can click each specific state and head directly over to your state's website where you can find the links. All right, so this is the URL that you want to start on. If you obviously don't have this URL, it's easy to find. You just go to Google, you type in get tax exempt on Amazon, and it is this one right here, the Amazon Tax Exemption Program. And that will take you to a page that looks like this, right? And so that what you want to do now is you want to go through and you want to select all of these specific states. Now, you're not going to get tax exempt in every specific state. I think I'm tax exempt in most, but there are certain ones that I'm not tax exempt for. It's going to depend and differ state to state, based on which ones you're going to struggle with getting tax exempt in and which ones are going to be relatively easy to you. I'm going to show you what works for me. Obviously, this is just anecdotal what works for me. Some of these you might get done easier if you have an EIN or a resale certificate in a different state, but obviously those are the prerequisites, okay? So the ones that I have a tax exemption or I have a resale certificate for my business in Pennsylvania. So these ones are going to be specific for me, but chances are the majority of these are going to work for you as well. And I want to also stress that the easiest way to do this is obviously follow my lead here with the ones that I'm going to tell you might struggle with, but then just go to the end of it, and whichever ones are giving you trouble, then just come back to the very beginning. You can just hit the back button. You'll see it down at the bottom once we go through these little prompts here, and then go back, uncheck that one if it's giving you trouble, and then just go back through the prompts again and redo it all. That's the easiest way to do it, to reverse engineer, to make sure that you obviously get tax exempt for as many potential states as you possibly can, so that if you're buying and shipping to addresses in those states, you're not paying sales tax on them. So the ones that give me trouble usually are Alaska. We're going to uncheck that one. California, we're going to uncheck that one. DC, Florida, Hawaii, Illinois always gives me trouble. They have a weird thing with like Chicago and Illinois. I'm not really sure what it is, but it always gives me trouble, so I just don't check it. And then we come down, we go to Mississippi, we uncheck that one. New York always gives me trouble as well. We'll uncheck that one. South Carolina's unchecked, and the rest of these look pretty good, right? So ideally, we would be tax exempt for all of these states, not counting the ones that we're shipping products to if our buyer is in those specific states. So we're going to click Save and Continue. And it's going to take us to this next page where it's going to ask us, in the state of Colorado, do you have a local tax exemption? I would just say, no, this doesn't apply to me. Here, it's going to ask you, like, what's the exemption status of your business and why are you qualified? I always put in resale. And here it's basically just showing you the specific forms that you're going to need, or, the specific exemptions you're going to need to get tax exempt in all the states that you had checked. So just click continue, that's just information. Now, this is blurred out because obviously I don't want to show you my specific business information, but you can see the things over here. You just want to fill these out. Organization name, right? What's your business name? Organization description, that's always resale. Business line, like what's your address, obviously. You're going to put your address in there, and then you're just going to type your name and authorized signer name right here, and obviously your title is going to be CEO or, whatever it is, obviously, for your specific business. All right, so now's the fun part. Now is where you're going to fill out your specific form. Now, the very first one right here is Pennsylvania. I'm not sure if that's because my resale certificate is in Pennsylvania, or if that's just because Pennsylvania specifically needs a Rev 1220. I believe that it's because Pennsylvania, because when I do it on eBay, they always ask you for this specific form for Pennsylvania as well. So if obviously you don't have a business formed in PA, then uncheck Pennsylvania. Now right here, it's going to ask you, what's your exemption type? So I always put resale right here. It's going to ask you the type of business that you performed. I always put retail trade. Then you're going to go down right here through the prompts for specific states, okay? And those are all going to be the same thing. So you're always going to say, okay, well, this is for me specifically because I'm in PA, so obviously take this with a grain of salt. If you have a business in West Virginia or you have a business in Wisconsin or Vermont or whatever, then obviously you're going to click yes and go through the prompts there for whatever the information is, right? You should have your EIN already, and you should have your resale certificate, so your 8-digit resale certificate number, as well as I believe it's a 10-digit EIN number. So we're just going to go through each one of these specifically. So because I have a business in PA, I'm going to say obviously no for all of these because I don't have a registration number for these. So I'm going to come down and click no for all of these. And then you just want to go through the prompts here, right? Like, okay, do you have an Arkansas registration number? No, I do not. So enter one of the following: an out-of-state number, which would be your out-of-state resale permit for your specific state, or your federal identification number, which is going to be your EIN, okay? So I always go with the out-of-state if it's possible there. And then obviously mine would be PA. And I would type in my PA sales tax license number, and then I would do, this is like an 8-digit number that you should get obviously from the IRS once you go through and you file for your resale certificate. So that's always going to be the same 8-digit number. And then the same thing for Georgia here. Obviously I have an out-of-state number. It's going to be PA because that's where my EIN is from. I have the Pennsylvania sales tax license number, which again is going to be that same 8-digit number right there. This is not your EIN. This is your retail certificate number, okay? And then for every single one of these right here in this top bracket, where it goes through like all the way down to Wyoming for me specifically, it's going to be the same thing, right? No, you don't have a number, out-of-state number, whatever your state is, and then your retail certificate number in there. Right here for Massachusetts specifically, obviously that's not an option to give the resale certificate, so you need your federal EIN, so go federal employer identification number. Obviously, okay, so it's 9-digit, I said 10, I'm corrected. So enter your 10-digit federal EIN. This is with no dashes, so usually when you get a federal EIN, it's going to be like 2 numbers, a dash, and then 7 more numbers, so make sure you take the dash out and put all 9 numbers in there, right? And then when it asks you to describe the property that you're going to be selling, it's always tangible goods and services for resales always in there. Since I'm not selling services, I just delete that. I just say tangible goods for resale, and then I move on, all right? Now I'm engaged and registered as a retailer. That's what we're doing here. Describe generally the property you're going to be purchasing. Again, that's tangible goods for resale. And then the same thing goes with all of these, but I believe it's going to be EIN. So, oh, no, it's not. So same thing as the ones above right here. So do you have an Alabama registration number? No, I do not, but I do have a PA one. And then you're just going to put in your resale certificate. So most of the time it's going to be out-of-state number. It's going to let you put out-of-state number in, and then you can select your state and put your reseller's license number in there, like I said. Every once in a while you'll click one of these when you say no, like Idaho, for example, where it'll ask you to put your EIN in. And then in this case, you want to look for the examples, right? If it doesn't have an example and just asks you to put your EIN in there, put all 9 digits without a dash. If it gives you the example like it does here with the dash, then you want to include the dash in there, okay? So that's just a little distinction that tripped me up in the beginning. Something that stupid is literally what tripped me up and wouldn't let me get it to submit. So just make sure you're going through slowly each one. Always click no, or obviously yes if you have that, and then input your state if you have that state. If you don't, click no. Always go for the out-of-state number first. If it doesn't let you do that, then go federal EIN. And if it's federal EIN, either put all 9 digits in there if there's no example of a dash, or all 9 digits with a dash after 2 if it shows you the example. Now right here, it's going to be tangible personal property for resale. As we move down, it's going to be the same thing, right? Do you have a Virginia registration number? No, I have an out-of-state. It's for PA. Here's my reseller's license number. Are you doing business under any other name? I'm not. You might be. If you are, obviously, and you have a DBA, then click yes and put your name in there. I do not. So then after that, we're going to click save and continue. One of the fastest ways to get started dropshipping on TikTok Shop is to use Amazon to test your products in the beginning. And I've taught that since I started doing it myself months and months ago. There's millions of products, there's tens of thousands, if not more suppliers, and there's pretty much every hot product that's selling on TikTok Shop right now, and it can be sourced on Amazon as well. And that makes Amazon a great supplier to, at the very least, start and prove the concept of products with. Although, prices on Amazon can often be higher, at least for most products, than they are for those same exact products on TikTok Shop, which essentially means even though you're not really competing on price on TikTok Shop, it can kind of handicap you a little bit versus other competitors selling those same products at a lower cost. And it can sometimes be tougher to find products that are subjective, essentially where you can mark the price up enough so you can still have a decent profit at the end of the day. But what if you could find products selling from a different supplier that would also drop ship directly to your customers and also deliver within the TikTok Shop's shipping deadlines that are getting more and more stringent? Well, lately I've been testing CJ dropshipping as a supplier on TikTok Shop, and I've been pleasantly surprised with the results. CJ lets you connect directly into your TikTok Shop. That way all of your orders, your customer addresses, your tracking information, it all syncs up easily. That way you don't have to worry about manually adding and inputting that yourself like I typically have to do when I use Amazon as my supplier. And you can just then focus on the most important part of selling on TikTok Shop, finding the hot products, making great videos that showcase them in a fun and innovative way, and getting affiliates to sell for you as well. So now when you first sign up for CJ Dropshipping, you'll have the ability to connect your TikTok shop directly, or really any other platform. You have WooCommerce, Shopify, and a number of others, but the majority of you are probably trying to connect to TikTok shop like I did, and they make it super easy to connect to all these platforms. You literally just click connect to your store, and then as long as you're signed into your TikTok shop, in this case already, it will just take you automatically to TikTok shop and walk you through the prompts to connect it automatically. It might have taken me 30 seconds to a minute max. Now, once you've connected your CJ Dropshipping account to your TikTok shop, now it's about just adding hot products from CJ into your shop automatically from their website, and I'll take you through that here in a second. But you also notice that on the left here, there are several options, right? So you have your cart if you're checking out on CJ. Obviously, you have your products, so as you add products to your store, they're going to be listed in My Products. You can see all the orders as well from within the CJ app, and you can also contact customer service, and they're pretty responsive. If you need a 3PL because maybe you want to move forward in the process, you're done dropshipping and you want to kind of start making bulk orders to increase your margins, all of that can be steps here as you scale. But right now in the beginning, we're just focused on finding hot products, adding them to our store, testing, improving the concept, and drop shipping directly to our customers, again, automatically synced directly into our TikTok shop, right? So the first thing you want to do if you don't have any products up from CJ yet is find products, right? So you want to click the find products tab, and that's going to take you into the directory here where you can see all the products that you can potentially find. They have all the categories here, so you can go down the categories and select your niche specifically and browse through that. They obviously have the subcategories for all these as well, so whether you're in jewelry or, automotive, home improvement, electronics, whatever the case is, it's pretty much all here. Now, they do have other things like trending products, new products, and certain things like that, and you can certainly browse them. For me specifically, I still use product research apps like Data and Shop Plus. The reason being is they're going to look on TikTok Shop specifically to see where the sales are coming from for what products, and all the data is there so that you can then take that, use that, and sell products like that, right? Essentially, all it does is it gives you product leads, so to speak, that are clearly selling well on TikTok right now, that we should also focus on selling ourselves, because there's a high likelihood that they could also do well for us if we're making decent videos and we're presenting them in a fun and innovative way, right? So once you do find those products, you'll notice that a lot of those products can also be found on CJ Dropshipping as well. Most of the time you can find the same exact product, but even if you can't, you can typically find something that's very, very similar that you could also list yourself, obviously depending on what the specific product is, right? So as an example, let's just look through some of these niches and I'll show you what you can expect, right? So let's go to bags and shoes, and you can start to see through the actual niche in this category. You can sort it by price, you can sort it by best match, newest, you can also set a minimum or maximum price as well. But one of the things that you need to make sure you're doing, right, especially dropshipping on TikTok Shop, is we still need to make sure that our products and our suppliers are shipping out fast enough, they're getting the product shipped fast enough, and also the delivery time to customers is fast enough as well. Because as you know, on TikTok Shop, you need to ship the product out within 2 days now, right? It used to be 3, now it's 2. Now they do give you a little bit of wiggle room if you're not abusing it, but you still don't want to actually push that envelope too much. So ideally, you need a supplier that's going to ship out fast within that 2-day window, so you can get the tracking number into your order that fast. And you also need a supplier that's going to deliver to your customer in under 11 days, assuming you've changed your shipping settings already, so that you can get that 11-day window, which is something that you should do anyway. So you need to make sure that you're choosing a warehouse within the country that you're selling on TikTok Shop, right? So me specifically, I'm in the US. I would make sure to click the US warehouses, so all the products that I'm seeing and adding to my TikTok Shop from CJ are from US located, US based warehouses. The products are already within the US and they're going to be delivered to my customers very quickly. I don't need to worry about any of it. You'll also notice that a lot like AliExpress, CJ prices are super cheap, right? So that's one of the benefits here, is you're getting a lot of high quality products that are already in the US, right? So getting quality, we already know that a lot of the products that we're going to find here on CJ, because we've already done our product research, are going to be hot selling products, and they're going to be delivered and shipped to the customer fast enough. It now gives us a massive competitive advantage because the prices are a lot lower now than as opposed to if you sold on somewhere from Amazon, for example, if you're using Amazon as your supplier, right? So Amazon to TikTok Shop, your price is going to be a little bit higher. It's going to be a little bit tougher to kind of break into that barrier, but here your prices are lower, so you can obviously test products a lot easier because you can test at a lower price point and obviously potentially make more sales to at least prove the concept before you dive headfirst into a product. So as we sort through here, just to show you an example, now that we're in US-based warehouses, you could also, if you wanted to sort through, you could look for specific products, or if you already knew a product that you wanted, right? So for example, one of the hot products that I found on Shop Plus recently was a dog water bowl for like when you're walking your dog, right? And it wasn't just like a normal water bowl that you pour water into. It was kind of like a portable, like almost water bottle where the top turned into a dog bowl and you just press the button and the water came out so that the dog could drink it on the walk, on the go. It would also, if you press the button back in, suck the water back in. So if we found a product like that, for example, that we already know is a hot product selling like hotcakes on TikTok Shop, we could come to CJ knowing that we now have all these advantages directly to our customer and it's synced up with our TikTok Shop, search for that, so dog water bowl, and see if we can find that product. So we search for dog water bottle, and obviously that went back to the original homepage, so we need to still make sure that we're only sorting through US warehouses here. Make sure that US warehouse again is sorted once we're searching, and now it's going to filter it down a little bit further, and there's a bunch of other options as well here, but this is the one I was talking about, very similar to this. This is a cool one, $3.99, but this was the actual one that I was referring to right here that I saw. It's got like a little paw print right there. Yep, that's the exact one, right? So what happens is the water goes in the bottom, then as you press the button here in the middle, the water flows to the actual bowl where the dog can drink. You suck it back in, you keep walking, and everybody wins. And this is a really cool thing because then you don't have to carry like a water bottle and a dog bowl with you, which nobody wants to do. You can just hook this on your pocket, on your bike, on the end of your leash, whatever. And so this is a really cool, innovative product that's been selling really well lately, right? And you can see that this product right here is as cheap as $4. It's in the US, right? So it's directly from the US, so it's going to ship fast enough. The estimated delivery time right here is 3 to 7 days, and the estimated processing time, which is important as well, is 1 to 3 days, right? With 80% of orders fitting in that actual window. That's important because we need it to actually ship out within that time period, right? Because we only have 2 days again on TikTok Shop, and we need to deliver to our customer within 11 days again on TikTok Shop. So this is a fantastic product that we then list from CJ directly onto our TikTok Shop, and then when we get orders, we can automatically again fulfill it with the customer information directly from CJ, all synced up as well. We no longer have to actually manually input the customer's address, order information, manually input the tracking number as well in the back end. We can now just automatically do it all from CJ. It's so much easier, right? And so if you wanted to list this on your shop, assuming that you've already connected it, you would just come down here to list, and then it's going to take you to the actual window where you can list it. But chances are you obviously want to put your own title on it. You're going to want to make sure that you select the appropriate category. You can adjust the variation pricing. You can adjust the images that it's adding, right? So if you don't want it to add all the images, you can delete some of them out of it, right? So if we wanted to not select this one, maybe not select this one, but we wanted to select this one or this one. Now, I'm not saying that these are good pictures. I'm just saying you have the ability to choose all the pictures from the listing. And this is a great way to actually test the product in the beginning, right? Because you're getting all the listing images, you're getting the description, you're getting the actual product directly shipped to your customer, again, synced up super quickly. So it's a no-brainer. And then what you want to do with this essentially is prove the concept, right? This is not the be-all end-all. This is not where you stop. This is just test to prove the concept in the beginning. And then obviously, if it starts to sell, if you prove the concept that you can actually sell this and turn viewers into TikTok into paying customers, at that point is when you want to stop and potentially then make your own pictures. Get a UGC creator to make videos for you and scale up that way, double down at that point and go all in, right? Again, if you want to adjust the description, it's right here. And when you're done, you click list now. It goes directly into your TikTok shop, syncs up perfectly, and it should be live obviously as soon as they review it. So I've been pleasantly surprised with CJ lately. It's another great supplier that, again, as long as you're sorting within warehouses within your location in your country, honestly, this is one of the best I've found. TikTok Shop is currently only available for sellers in the US, UK, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, and Singapore. So if you don't live in those countries, you can't sign up to sell on TikTok Shops currently. But there is a way that you can still make money selling TikTok Shops products, even if you live outside the United States, UK, or any of the countries I just listed. Now, initially I thought that people could set up an LLC within one of these countries and then use their business EIN number to sign up to sell, just like it almost used to work on Facebook Shops or other similar sites like eBay, for example. But that doesn't work because TikTok still requires you to show an ID or a passport for that country after you sign up with your business number. So then, how can you make money selling on TikTok Shops even if you don't live in these countries? Well, it's simple. You can be an affiliate for TikTok Shop products while you're waiting for shops to come to your country, which it inevitably will. TikTok is still expanding their ways to monetize, and they're still improving and expanding shops. So I'm assuming that they'll open it up to more countries at some point in the near future. But in the meantime, signing up to be an affiliate to promote shop products is your best alternative. Not only will you be able to make good money selling products within your niche, but you'll also learn a lot more about how the platform works as a seller as well, how to link products in your videos, what products and niches actually work better and why. And you'll also be able to get a good view from the affiliate side so that you'll know how to successfully approach and sign those affiliates for your shop products once you're actually able to sell. And I've talked about how important that is when you're trying to scale a shop, simply because you'll only really need like 1 or 2 affiliates that can bring in a good amount of sales for you without needing to create any new content at all, and the sales will just continue to roll in. And this might not be what you want to hear, but honestly, it's the best move if you don't live in one of these countries and you're unable to sign up as a seller, because you'll learn the ins and outs of how the platform works like I touched on, and by the time you're able to actually sign up and sell, you'll have that invaluable insight on what products actually sell to your audience and within your niche, which at that point, you can then make the transition to successfully selling your own products a lot easier, because you'll already know what to list, what video formats work best for those products, and you won't have to waste the time testing products because you already did when you were an affiliate. Plus, you'll be able to make money with shop products without needing to worry about storing any inventory if you wanted to sell directly, obviously, without having to worry about shipping products, processing orders, inputting tracking numbers, or doing customer service or anything like that. You know, all the operations of an e-commerce business that are not not fun that nobody actually talks about. So that's the best way that anyone in the world can make money with TikTok Shop products. I know a lot of people have been saying that you can just get a VPN and someone else's ID, but that, in my opinion, is one of the worst things that you can do, because you'll be trying to build a business that's built on a terrible foundation, which will inevitably fail and come to a screeching halt when you get caught. And a lot of people have been dealing with this recently. I get messages and comments from them. They'll use a VPN, and then when TikTok suspends them once they catch on, it leads to a loss of money and all that money tied up in an account that you can't recover, not to mention all the time wasted scaling a business with no future potential. You'll also, on top of that, be jeopardizing your ability to sign up for a TikTok Shop in the future on the off chance that they can connect your IP, your account, your name, or whatever to the accounts that were fraudulent that you had set up with the VPN. And almost all these e-commerce platforms are very good at pinpointing these accounts and matching them up. Think Amazon, think eBay, think Facebook, and obviously now TikTok Shops as well, because it's an e-commerce site. So don't do that. It's not worth it, and you're much better off just signing up to be an affiliate to promote these products yourself, with the opportunity to sell on TikTok Shops in the near future when it comes to your country, rather than just running the risk of not being able to ever again. So if you'd like to sign up to be an affiliate, you can do so easily from your TikTok app on the page that you want to connect by simply going to the three bars on the top right, then to Creator Center, and then under monetization, you'll see a number of options, and one of them is going to be TikTok Shop for Creator. Assuming you're 18 or older and you have at least 5,000 followers, you can then sign up for this from anywhere in the world and start making money with TikTok Shop products today. When I first started selling on TikTok Shop, I had used the tried and true method of process of elimination. I found a few products that actually sold by testing dozens of different ones within my niche, and 2 months of guesswork and experiments finally led to some winners. But you don't need to do that anymore. Data is a software designed specifically for TikTok Shop. It'll tell you what products are selling within each category and niche, how many units they've sold specifically, and what TikTok page or creator is actually responsible for those sales, as well as show you the exact videos that they use to actually make those sales. That way, if you're interested in selling a specific product, you can look at that page and see exactly what video formats, intro hooks, video scripts, and overall approaches and strategies are actually turning the viewers on TikTok into actual paying customers for you. This is by far the quickest approach to success when selling on TikTok Shop, whether you're selling your own products or you're an affiliate. Only sell proven products that you know are already working. Reverse engineer successful videos and emulate those that are already succeeding. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to in the beginning, unless you're trying to launch your own brand, which is a completely different story. Now, this software will save you hours of product research and hundreds of dollars avoiding testing bad products, if not more. Let me show you how it works and how easy it is to use regardless of your niche or experience level. So there's many different ways that you can use this software, and there's many different data points that are going to help you pick winning products on TikTok Shop that you already know are selling. See the videos, see the creators, regardless of your niche, right? And one of the benefits of using a software like this is obviously you can go into, manually yourself. You can use your phone, you can go into TikTok Shop and see products that are selling. You can see their sales numbers, and you can see the videos suggested to you. But you're very limited in what you can do on your phone, and you're very limited in what you can actually see, right? You're only suggested like that first 5 to 10 videos. You have to scroll through, you have to search, and there's really not a lot of information that you can get if you're just searching on your phone and seeing it in that little window. What this does is it takes all the data, right? I don't even know what it is. Thousands, millions and millions of different data points, products, sellers, their videos, and it puts it into a really searchable and easy to understand database. So you don't want to just find like a product that's selling well. You want to find like the best product that's selling, or the top 10 products that are selling, and increase your odds of success with them as well, because now you can see it all streamlined, organized for you, okay? So I could talk about this for hours and we could do a long tutorial. Let me show you a few different examples of how you can use it really quickly to find hot selling products within your specific niche, which you can then use to create videos for yourself and make money, whether you're selling your own products or making affiliate commissions. So the first way is just look through the categories, right? If you're just starting on TikTok Shop and you're not sure what you should build your shop or your page around, one of the best things to do is explore the categories in the beginning, right? Not like what you think is out there, right? Not the opportunity that you perceive or think is cool. What's actually selling and what's doing the best. So if you click on category at the top, you'll see that it literally categorizes everything for you from top revenue categories on down, right? Because while you might think that basket weaving is cool or snowboarding is really cool, are there actually people buying products on TikTok Shop within those categories? That's the biggest indicator, right? So as you can see, it's already preset this way. The biggest category by far is beauty and personal care, which is double the next category, which is women's underwear and clothing like that, right? And then health comes in a little bit after that, food and supplements. And this one right here is a product that pretty much everybody that I've seen sells, because this one went crazy like a month or two ago. It's kind of died off a little bit. You might want to try it if you're still in like the health or supplements category, but chances are it's oversaturated now. But so this is really important, because if you're interested in a specific category, what you can do is you can click on that category well, first and foremost, you can make sure that it has sales and the revenue is not like dropping off and tailing off. It's remained consistent, right? So this is only showing you the past week or so, but what you could do is you could sort it, and you could also click in that graph as well and see the sales for that specific time frame within the category. So if we expand beauty and personal care out 30 days, you would see that it's actually, because if you look at it from 7 days, it looks like the actual sales are starting to go up, but then they tank. But if you expand and extrapolate that out, it's really been consistent and growing over time, which is another indicator that sales on TikTok Shop in general are growing currently, and there's a massive opportunity. But to go back to categories, let's say that, okay, you weren't interested in selling supplements, you weren't interested in hopping into beauty and personal care, maybe you were interested in something specific. Maybe you wanted to sell like home care or personal appliances. So you would go to that category, you'd find the corresponding category, and you'd see what the opportunity on TikTok for that is currently. So in this case, the last 7 days, it's been averaging about 500,000 sales. In the last 30 days, it's on the uptick slightly. The number of shops that are selling this type of merchandise are under 500, so there's a decent opportunity there with not that much competition. It's got an almost 38% revenue growth rate over the past 30 days, so it's increasing, and it's a little bit under $10 million in revenue. So there's an opportunity in this category. Now, if you go back and let's say hypothetically, as you're browsing through, you were interested in fitness supplements because maybe you wanted to sell pre-workout powder or protein or whatever it is. You might want to look at this because you want to make sure that there's still a decent amount of revenue over time. It's not on the downtrend, which obviously this is not. You want to make sure that it's not super oversaturated with shops that are selling these types of products currently, and that the revenue compared to the specific shops that are selling those doesn't make it oversaturated. And you also want to make sure that there's a decent amount of average revenue available per shop, right? Now, these ones are the top ones, so you're going to see that there's a lot of opportunity in sales in these because there's a lot of opportunity in TikTok in general. But what I'm saying is if you're trying to find a good category or niche and you're just jumping into it, run a category check on Data first to make sure that there's a good opportunity still within that category, or at the very least, maybe start thinking about some of these other top categories that are getting crazy amounts of sales, because while there's some competitors in them, there's an opportunity, and competition is an indicator of sales. And the best part about it is you can then use their videos and what's working for them and also post the same similar type of content, because now you know what's working already in that category. You post the same similar content on your page, and there's a high likelihood that you'll do just as well with that. So that's the first way that you can use it. Just explore the categories. Now, if you go to explore, you can search pretty much everything in here as well, right? So you can see I've searched golf already. So if we search golf, I actually used to sell in the golf category. My shop was in the golf category. I've since pivoted, but you can also see like you can explore creators within that specific niche. So if you just search a keyword up here, you can explore creators. You can explore other shops that are selling that. You can also explore specific products or specific product videos that have done well. Now, I don't really ever play around with live stream myself, but if you're a live streamer and you plan on selling that way, you can click on live stream. But if I'm trying to find what products are selling well in this niche, I can do product research by simply searching for specific keywords, right? And I can tell you firsthand that some of these right here, these VR ones, sell really well, because a VR one just like this was my top selling product when I had my golf shop. And the only reason I stopped selling it was because TikTok hit me with a violation that I miscategorized it, and it should have been in like electronics or something like that, and I needed product certifications, even though I had it listed within like the golf accessories category. So whatever, I pivoted anyway. So another way that you can search through it is just look at top creators. You can search creators' names or handles. So you could also search a keyword here and potentially find it in the handle of somebody selling well in your category or niche. You can see what's working for the top creators and what products they're selling. So this person's probably like into beauty and healthcare, but a key indicator here is if you see a lot of these top people selling some stuff, there's a chance that a lot of their top products might be good product opportunities as well, because they've already done the research and they know what's selling, because they're clearly making a lot of videos most of the time on products. So you can kind of really pick good winners here by selling some of their products that might not necessarily be their top sellers, but other products that they found are good opportunities as well, and make them your winners. But perhaps my favorite way of using this is just find hot products. So all the same, you can search through the hot products, you can sort them for revenue. So what's the hottest product currently right now within the past 7 days within a specific niche. You could also search for a specific product name, and there's all these filters on the side that you can use as well, right? Like, is it trending? How much revenue potential are you looking for here? Are you want over 10K? Are you looking for a specific number? Is it being sold by an affiliate or just a shop? So play around with these little filters on the side, but you don't even really need to filter it. You could also just search in a specific keyword or product name here if you're interested and you want to see what the sales are on TikTok Shop. But this is another great place to kind of show you what's trending and what's doing very well. So you'll see if you sort for revenue wise, the best product currently at the moment is this 15-day cleanse gut and colon support, right? And so if you already picked your niche, and as you can see here, this is the one I was talking about before, it's up here as like the 8th ranked product on TikTok Shop currently with almost $500,000 in sales. And that's just over the past like what, 7 days or so. But the cool thing about this is you can see products that are within your niche that you can also sell. And over here on the right, you can click on videos that are suggested to you that have already been made by other creators and done well and gone viral. So again, you can just replicate those similar videos, put your own spin on them, and then also have a higher likelihood to do well on yours. So this is a game changer of a software. There's so many use cases of this, but I recommend downloading it, playing around with it, and it will show you what the winners within your niche are. With Data, you're not guessing anymore. You've now got a sniper rifle aimed directly at your top competitors, and what's best is they don't even know it. in order to make a successful product video that actually gets sales on TikTok, it's important to first make sure that you're creating videos on products that people actually want to buy. The best video in the world showcasing a mediocre product that nobody wants, it won't get any sales. But on the other hand, a mediocre video showcasing a hot selling product that is in demand right now, well, that'll probably get a ton of sales simply because you've nailed the most important thing, the product. That's why the first step before ever creating any video for TikTok affiliates or TikTok shop is crucial, right? And that first step is identifying a high demand product. So my go-to software to identify products like this is Data. It is great. It really streamlines everything and puts it into a database where it's searchable. It presents the information to you in an easy to understand and easy to read format. It has everything that you're going to need to know to find a hot selling product that's selling right now and doing well in your niche, regardless of what that is, right? To give you an overview, there are several ways that you can utilize this. So if you're into live streaming, right? Well, you can go to the live streaming tab and see what's currently working for live streamers and what they're selling, what types of products, and kind of get insight into that, right? If you wanted to do videos, same thing, you can go to the video tab. Now, I personally like the category tab, and I'll show you insights into each specific niche here in a second, but you also can if you are sniping another competitor. So for example, if you're doing product research and you happen to notice that there's another seller just launching and they're selling a lot of different products that are doing really well and nobody else has kind of picked up on them yet, you can snipe them very easily and figure out all their best selling products, all their best selling videos, right, that are actually attributing the sales for those specific products by simply typing in their creator name or their handle on TikTok into the creator tab on the search bar, right? So for example, let's say we're sniping Daisy Calabral. I don't know who this is, but let's just as an example show you. Well, it's going to tell you everything about her and when she's selling, what she's selling, how she's selling, all the products that she's specifically selling, right? So it looks like she has several shops actually. The first one right here is iced coffee with 31 specific products. It's got almost 4.5 thousand sales and over 130,000 in revenue. Again, you can see Bella All Natural. I don't know if that's like a beauty brand or whatever. Then blends as well, right? You can look at her products that she's actually selling within those shops, right? What's her best selling product? If you want to sort it by revenue, if you want to sort it by items sold or whatever, and gain insight into that. So I'm not going to go too deep into this because I don't use this that frequently, but it is a great tool to actually reverse snipe a competitor if you want to find more insights on what products that they're selling that, you know, maybe you haven't thought of, if you see that they're onto something and you want to kind of emulate their success, right? Now, I personally like to go to the category tab, and this is one of the best places, in my opinion, to start with, especially if you're a beginner, because there's so many different niches here, regardless of whatever your niche is that you want to get into. It's going to show you, obviously, the top selling niches, right? So if you sort it from the top at revenue, you can see that beauty and personal care by far is the top niche, over doubling almost every other niche, even the second niche below it. It's pretty much double. Then women's wear and underwear, then health and food supplements, makeup and perfume. You get the picture, right? Now, I typically don't recommend starting in one of these top categories because they are super competitive. And by all means, like, competitiveness and sales is actually a good thing, right? Because it's an indicator of success, and a lot of people are competing there because there's a lot of sales to be had, right? But for most beginners, you probably want to go a little bit down the list and start with something a little less competitive that's still getting a lot of sales, because in my experience, there's going to be a larger opportunity and void there where there's sales but not enough shops and affiliates to compete for those specific sales, and you can do a better job, right? So whether that's sports and outdoors, phone and electronics, food and beverages, if you want to go to the next tab and see what's there for you as well. So you have fitness supplements, personal care appliances is always a good one, kitchenware is a solid one. It's also really easy to make videos on kitchenware because it's really easy to demonstrate these things in action and get a lot of B-roll, speaking from experience. But let's go back to sports and outdoors. That's always a good one, and we'll click into that niche, right? So not only will it sort the niches, showing you which one to actually potentially hop into and which ones are the best opportunities, but let's say you already know your niche, right? Well, you go to that specific category and you can scroll down and see the top selling products within that niche and all the data there as well, right? So what's the top revenue? I see these steppers all over the place, have for months now. Almost everybody sells these, so there's a reason. Obviously, the revenue is absolutely crushing. There's a decent margin to be had because you can upsell them, even though you could probably source them for like 15 bucks. And they're selling like hotcakes, with a ton of other sellers actually making videos selling these, both from my personal experience from live streams. I see them all the time in live streams, but also you can see the specific videos that are selling these products, and that's absolutely crucial, right? So if you click into the actual product right here, again, I wouldn't recommend selling this. I'm just showing you an overview of what you can actually see and all the insight that this is going to provide you. There's no secrets here, guys. Like, this is exactly what I do to find hot products, right? So if I wanted to look deeper into this product, right, what I would essentially do is, you can see that the revenue is over 300,000. There's a ton of items sold. You can also see the conversion rate here for this specific product, which is obviously a good indicator. The higher the conversion rate, typically speaking, the easier it's going to be to make a video that actually gets sales. Now, that is only one variable. There's several other variables as well. You also want to look at the competition between other creators, right? So what I like to look at is there one creator or just a few creators that are absolutely crushing this for whatever reason. Sometimes they can have their own brand and their own branded product with that specific product, or oftentimes maybe they just had a few viral videos, and so you want to kind of check this out. What you want to look for is a bunch of different creators making a good amount of money in this, right? So in the last 7 days right here, you can see that there's a ton of actual creators making good money with this. although this is really competitive because you have a lot of actual creators making videos on this, right? And so you want to find the sweet spot where you have a product that's getting a lot of sales, but there aren't that many creators making videos on it, and a lot of the top creators are all doing not equal, but they're all doing somewhat well, right? What you don't want to see is one creator or two creators absolutely crushing and then everybody else struggling, because typically speaking, you can assume that you're going to be one of those other struggling creators, right? You want to see it a little bit more evenly dispersed. Now, obviously this one is, but this product is super competitive, wouldn't recommend. Now, one other thing that I definitely recommend that you do is pay attention to when those sales came, right? This is crucial. When I get on a consulting call with somebody and they're like, hey Brian, like I did X, Y, and Z, I followed your method, but like I'm still not getting sales. Almost always in that situation, it has to do with a high frequency of picking a lot of products where the sales kind of have dropped off, even though the product looks like it has a lot of sales, right? And so extrapolate the data, right? Look at the last 30 days, look at the last 90 days, look at the last 180 days, and extrapolate it out. What you do not want to see is a trend where it starts high and then goes low and drops off, because that's going to indicate that while yes, there was a lot of sales there, the demand is going down and down and down. Maybe it's more competitive, maybe it's a trending product, maybe it's played out on TikTok and you kind of exhausted the buyer base there. So check all those things. I like to go 30 days, 90 days, and 180 just to get an overall picture of the actual market for that product and the trend line to see if it is still selling. Now, if you extrapolate, this is pretty consistent in my opinion. It's doing, what is it, like 20, 30, $40,000 in revenue almost every single day for a while now, with one major spike. If you extrapolate it over the last 180 days, again, pretty consistent with a little bit of ups and downs, but nothing crazy where it like spikes up or spikes down a lot, right? So overall, not a terrible product, but it is probably a little competitive. But let's go back and pick something a little lower down the list. So we go back to sports and outdoors, we go to more products to see a little bit further. I always recommend at least going to the second or third page, right? Because typically speaking, everybody that hops on a software like this is going to mostly pick the first few products, like the first page of products. So don't be one of those people, because then you know that everybody else with your strategy essentially that's dropshipping products or also potentially doing TikTok affiliates is looking at those products. So go one layer deeper at least, okay? Potentially a few layers deeper or a few niches deeper as well, but just to get you thinking, that can obviously help. Now, there's a lot of actual clothing here, which I'm not interested in selling clothing, so let's go a little further down here. So this right here, Fit Beast Pony hand grip, not terrible. This flashlight right here, again, not terrible. Outdoor portable working lights. So let's click the hand grip strengthener and check this out. Now, this doesn't look like a bad product off the bat because it's selling relatively cheap, right? So I could probably mark the price up here for $12, $15, potentially $19.99 and sell it, because again, remember, on TikTok, while price does matter, right, in the overall market and grand scheme of things, you're not competing on price, right? It's not like you're hopping on eBay and you're seeing a bunch of different products that are all the same with the prices right there. It's not like you're hopping on Amazon where all the sellers are competing for that buy box button that's add to cart or buy now, and so price is a major factor. Yes, it is a factor, but on TikTok specifically, when you're doing TikTok shop, you're not competing on price solely because you are selling directly to customers and directly to viewers with your video, right? It's a different approach, and so price matters, but is not the be all end all, and so typically speaking, you're not solely competing on price. Obviously, if you're doing affiliates, the price isn't going to matter to you because the commission is going to be higher or lower depending on that price, and you don't set that price, right? So you don't need to worry about that with affiliates. Now, to go a little bit deeper, in the last 7 days, this has almost $20,000 in revenue. Again, let's look at the trend line here. If we extrapolate it out, okay, so in the beginning of May, it wasn't really doing that well, and then recently it started to do a little bit well, so that is kind of a red flag because for about a month, it wasn't doing too well, and now all of a sudden, somebody's selling it decently. We extrapolate it on the last 90 days. Again, so this isn't, in my opinion, one of the best products because for the last month or so, and even before that, you see 2 major spikes here of sales, and the rest of it's kind of low at like $200 a day, so not something I'd really particularly be interested in. And realistically, the 2 top people here are selling it with only a few other people making into the thousands. Everybody else is making hundreds of dollars. So that's an example of a product I'd probably steer clear from. Let's go back to page 2. So the squat machine right here, let's check out this one. Let's pick a different one. Lifting straps, I see these all over the place. Again, super competitive, but we'll look at the chart just to show you. So the squat machine here, so again, let's look at the trend line. In the last 7 days here, it's done well over $200,000 in revenue with a lot of items sold, but again, let's extrapolate that. So 30 days out right here, that's pretty consistent. I like to see that, right? 23,000 a day, a lot there. The price is relatively high, so that can build in a little bit of margin for us. We can assume there. Also, with that margin comes a higher potential profit, right? Because 20% of $10 is $2, right? 20% of $100 is $20. So every sale you'll be making more money, even if your margin is the same. So something to keep in mind as well, which is typically why I like to sell not high price products, but higher price products. Not that $5, $10, $15 price point. I like to go for the 20 to like 50 range ideally, but this can also work if you can figure out how to sell this well. So let's extrapolate to 90 days. And again, pretty consistent. It does go up and down, but you can see that for a while in the past 3 months, it's been, pretty consistent. So I like this product. But let's check to see that there's not one specific creator or 2 specific creators crushing and everybody else struggling. Yeah, there's one crushing. Yeah, there's 2 crushing, but you can also see that a lot of people are crushing this product. Like even if you go down to the 10th seller, $26,000 in revenue here in the last 90 days, and you have a bunch of people earning almost 200,000 here. Even if we go to like page 3, which is really low, again, even people making thousands on page 3. So there's a lot of opportunity with this product. I'd probably look a little bit more in depth on this one. Now for this one, just to give you one more example, in the last 7 days, these lifting straps have done 21,000. If we extrapolate it to 30, okay, it's somewhat consistent. If we look at 90 days, again, pretty consistent, with it even going slightly down, but still pretty consistent. Last 180 days, okay, the trend line's going down, and that's probably indicative of the fact that a lot of people are selling these now, and it's probably getting a little played out because I see this all over TikTok, right? So if I'm on TikTok, I'm a potential buyer for this. I'm only going to buy this product once, right? And then I'm not really a buyer for it anymore. And so that's probably, just knowing how much I've seen this over the past 90 days to 120 days, these are probably getting played out. So this probably isn't the best product, but again, you wouldn't know that unless you see it all the time like I have, right? And tons of other creators obviously doing well with this, hence why a lot of people do it. The margins are great, they're relatively cheap, but this wouldn't be something that I would do just based on experience, okay? So now we found one that looks promising with a decent margin where a lot of creators are actually doing well with it. The trend line speaks, right? It's not just having like a spike in sales recently, it's been doing it for a while and it's still selling consistently, right? So what will we do here? Well, if you're selling with TikTok Shop, obviously you need to reverse engineer the supplier of this and figure out where to actually get this from, or something very similar so that you could also sell it and list it on your TikTok Shop, right? If you're doing affiliates like I do a lot now, then this is really easy because you can just list this to your product showcase and then start making videos because other people are doing all the logistics, all the shipping, all the customer service, and you just focus on making videos, whether you want to live stream or make the specific videos and upload them to your page. But again, guys, there's no secrets. This is exactly what I do. I look at the data. I don't guess. I don't make videos on what I think is cool for the niche. I look at what's working right now. And a little caveat here too is a lot of people hear that and they're like, oh, I'm just going to hop on Data and I'll find a hot selling product, make videos, and I'll be a millionaire. And obviously this gives you a much higher likelihood of succeeding with this, right? But it's still trial and error at the end of the day, right? You still need to test some products. You still need to improve your videos and make good videos. And ultimately, if you improve all of those and you combine all those variables, you will see success, right? A better hot selling product gives you a higher likelihood to sell. If you improve your videos, obviously your videos will then attract more viewers and convert a lot more people with your videos. And if you do that consistently and try a bunch of different products, right? Not just one, so at least 5 to 10 before you chalk it up to like, okay, I need to try something else. Something's not right. Something's not working here. Do that consistently. And over time, I promise you, you will find a level of success with this. It's all about just trial and error with proven products and improving your videos. It's that simple. But again, Data is my go-to for this. It really makes all the information easy to read, easy to sort through for whatever your niche is. No secrets, just data, and just putting in the work consistently, and you'll get there.